Well, good morning. Welcome to Thoughts Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Wolak. Every day we come together to share, to better understand the power of being aware, the power of how to better self-love through conscious living. That's what I teach. That's what I do, because for me, it's all that is. The more aware I become, the more I'm able to love myself, to accept myself. And so I find it interesting so much of the time that when you're a teacher and you're teaching things that are about personal responsibility, a lot of people get their hackles up. They find offense in it because you're not making them feel comfortable. And what I've learned through the years of dealing with this type of situation, it's not me, but it's the perspective of the individual who's listening, the perspective of the person who's watching. It's the perspective of the person. And what I really have come to understand, that your perspective is your power. How you perceive anything creates your experience. And only you can change that perspective. No one else can. If you have the perspective that life treats you like crap and that you're a victim, everything in life you're going to see like that. Here's a perspective that really causes people to be uncomfortable when I talk. I have a perspective that everything is in balance. Everything is in balance. There is no one-sided life. And with that perspective, that ruffles people's feathers, because they have this idea they've been domesticated or brainwashed into believing that you can be happy all the time. You can have a one-sided life, and I'm saying, or you can be a victim. A lot of people are really attached. Not only they're not attached to being happy all the time, they're attached to the other. I'm a victim and I'm going to be miserable all the time. There's that attachment going on. And I'm saying, I don't buy into either. I'm saying that life is in balance. That life is in balance. We are in balance. We just don't realize it. Because why? Our perspective, our perception is not one to see the balance in life. But if you open yourself up and you can look at any situation in your life that you've ever come across in any way, shape, or form, there was good that came out of the bad. There was bad that came out of the good. And I'm not saying bad or good from a judgmental standpoint. I'm saying opposite. Does that make sense? Because who am I to label anything good or bad? It's all perspective, isn't it? It's all a perception that I have. What you label as good, I may label as bad. Going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and having to unbutton your pants because you've eaten so much, you may say, that's good. I would say, no, not good. I used to love the buffets. I used to be the guy that had to unbutton the pants. But then I realized that the perspective of eating all that was not going to create a body that I was going to enjoy all of my life. And so I changed my perspective on how I eat. And realize, when I say perspective, it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just the lens through which I'm looking at life at this moment. And that lens, if I'm somewhat aware, means it's working out for me. If something's working out for you, that's a good thing to have. That's a perception you want to maintain. But if there are things in your life that are not working out, that you would like to see different, then you've got to ask the question, how am I perceiving that? This is what takes most relationships down, isn't it? We're going along, we love our partner, And then for whatever reason, something happens and we change our perspective of them. We change the perspective, we change our relationship and go, what the hell happened to the relationship? Oh, I forgot, I changed my perspective of it. Yeah. Johanna says, everything is neutral. It's up to us to give it its meaning. That's right. How can we control our perspective? By being more aware. Here's the key thing. I teach that your life purpose comes from knowing your top values, your top 3 to 4 to 5 values. That which you want more of, that's what there's a greatest void. It's the single best workshop that I do. Once you understand your values, then everything that comes into your life, you use the perspective of, oh, my number 1 value is to be more aware. This happened. How can I look at that so that helps me become more aware? Oh, I teach my number 2 value. How can I look at whatever happens in my life and say, how does that support my teaching? So you can see that if my number 2 value is a teacher, every situation that occurs can become an example of how to teach, could be an example of maybe I need to teach more in this area. Maybe I need to explore more in this area. So I have this idea of developing a perspective that supports what I value most. And from my values comes my purpose. My purpose is really simply this, to teach how to better self-love through conscious living. That's my purpose in life. And by teaching that, I get more of it, because what you teach, you can't help but get more of. That's a key thing. So let me say hi. I got Delphi, Jean, Maggie, Johanna. Oh my God, there's Chow. Italy's online. Johanna again. Wendy's back online. I love that you're checking in with me. And realize that the media, advertising, everything is about getting you to have their perspective. And because they put a perspective out there doesn't mean it's right. There is no right perspective, only the one that you choose. And you decide whether that's right or wrong based on how that's showing up in your life. How are you feeling in your life? I don't know. Trying to if you watch, here's an interesting one, perspective. If you watch and you go to the website ESPN.com, let's say you're a sports fan right now. And I live in Dallas, Texas right now. So in sports right now, the Dallas Mavericks being in the playoffs is a big deal here. So my perspective is I'd like to know what Dallas is, right? What Dallas did last night. When I go to ESPN, the top stories are all about the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. You have to really scroll down to find what happened to Dallas. The media's perspective is that New York and Boston are more important, more significant because of advertising revenue than Dallas is. So their perspective is very different than mine. You ever wondered why? I'm using sports as an example because it's a really good one. You ever wondered why the New York Giants and the New York Jets get so much airtime on sports TV? They're 2 of the worst friggin' teams out on the planet. And they get more time than others. Why? Who's influencing the perspective? I could give a tush about them. Now you're going to say, well, Lee, that's because you're prejudiced toward Dallas. No. Don't care about Dallas Cowboys either. May tick some of you off, but I don't. I do follow Tom Brady. I like him as an individual. I like his uniqueness. And I like that he has got a dedication beyond anyone I've ever seen. And that dedication translates into results, doesn't it? 7 Super Bowls. You may not care for everything about a person, but you can look at a person who's that successful and say, there's a commitment there. And then ask the question, where am I committed? Where am I really committed, or am I not committed really at all to anything? And I think that's where most people are. Or they're committed to things. I'm committed to being miserable. I'm committed to being a victim. Because you know what you're committed to? What your life is demonstrating. In order to get a different demonstration, you got to change your perspective of what you see in life. There's only one person controlling your perspective, and that person is you. And there's one person that can change that perspective, and that person is you. Don't go looking to your life partner, your parents, your kids, your friends to give you what you need to change. You've got to dig down in, find it for yourself, and begin the process of becoming that person who would be the most authentic you that you can ever imagine. That's your goal, to be authentically you. So go do it. I got nothing more to say today. I want you to know, no matter what you do, it's okay with me. Just don't infringe on my right and my freedoms to be me. And I won't do the same for you. Until tomorrow, I love you all. Create a great day. Aloha.